I'm insane.
Said, I'm insane.
I'm insane, bro. Like,
I can relate. I feel like I'm a little unhinged most of the time.
exactly.
Let's go behind the lines.
Welcome to Behind the Lines, the show where we dive deep behind the minds and the music of the independent artists. Today we have with us Reath.
Hey, how you guys doing? It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah, appreciate you.
So just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in music.
Yeah, so I was born in Philly. I moved out here when I was 9 years old, so I was a little kid. And I've been writing for as long as I've been kind of speaking, you know what I mean? And obviously, like when you're a kid, all the songs you write are garbage, you know? All the songs I wrote as a child were garbage, I'll say that.
Can we get a preview? I know, do you remember any of them?
Dude, the first song I ever wrote was called One Stick, and it goes, one stick is one stick, and that's a part of nature. Two sticks are two sticks, and that's a part of nature. And it was just a counting song, you know?
Oh, it's cute.
It's going through the basics.
I like that. Actually.
Just trying to educate my peers. You know what I mean? I was learning how to count myself, so it's mostly about sticks. But yeah, man, it's funny because I was writing about adult themes like love before I knew what that was. You know what I mean? So now I've got all these notebooks and all these recordings of myself at 7 years old, 8 years old, singing love songs that are basically just like assumed parroted concepts, that are based on other love songs that I've heard. Love's always been something that really interests me, and interpersonal relationships and connection has always really interested me. And before I even knew what that was or had any personal experience, I was just kind of making shit up, and and my writing kind of became a dual thing. It's about processing my own emotions and experiences, but it's also about kind of having a soundboard or feedback from the people around me. Like especially in the beginning, it was like, I think this is what love is. Is that valid? I think this is what friendship is supposed to be. Is that valid? Like, I think this is what loyalty is. Is that valid? So like, I learned a lot growing up by writing the wrong song. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
But yeah, now I'm an adult, and I do a lot of writing for other artists. I do a lot of writing for TV and commercials. But my main focus is my artist project, Reath. That's my actual government name. Parents gave me a wild name.
I mean, is it really that wild?
You don't think so?
No. I mean, I don't know any other Reaths. So I don't either, but I also don't know any other bunnies.
Fair enough. We got fun names.
So
yeah.
I don't know any other Serenes. That is true. I don't know any other Serenes either.
No, we're all so unique. This is a good time. We should start a band. Yeah, I've never met another Reath, but one time I was introduced to my friend's little brother, and he was like, "That's a girly name," and I was like,
"It's girly at all.
Please say more right now. Like, what is that? What does that even mean?" And he's like, "I know a girl named Reath," and I was like, "No, you don't." And he pulled out his phone and went on Facebook, and he absolutely did know a girl named Reath. And I was like, "Yo, fair enough, bro. You got me."
I feel like actually there's a fellow Cambodian out there whose name is Reath.
That's lit.
I think, I just didn't think it was a strange name at all. I was like, it's giving familiar to me.
Hell yeah. Spelled the same way, Reath?
I don't know. It sounds like something that a Cambodian person would name their child.
Hey.
Sounds like it could be a Cambodian.
Anybody out there named Reath, hit me up. Like, I'm trying to start a club or something, Like, I thought I was the only one, so.
Sorry to break it to you.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, I do a lot of writing for TV commercials, other artists, a lot of sync placement, stuff like that. But my main focus is my own artist project, and I play with a live band. It's sort of alternative R&B, hip-hop stuff. Think like Mac Miller or Dominic Fike or someone in that lane. It's kind of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
Cool, thanks. Glad that's coming through.
Are they like your biggest inspirations right now?
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
I would say so. I mean, there's tons of other people and there's tons of names that I could throw out, but that can get so boring. I've written, you know, like when someone's just listing a bunch of their inspirations, like, take a walk, dude. I don't care. I think that, like, you should be able to say in, like, 2 or 3 artists, like, I sound like these people, dig it or don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would say, like, SZA, Frank Ocean, like, that kind of world also plays a huge part. Doja Cat. I love lyricists that are just, like, really lyric heavy and, like, really... Like that's, I think, the thing that interests me most is the lyric side of it. My voice is, my guitar playing is worse, but my lyrics I'm so proud of. You know what I mean?
It's not down yourself like that.
No. It's, you know, you lower expectations so that people are pleasantly surprised. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
That's fair.
Don't ever talk about yourself like that again.
I would never do that, Bunny. Now that you told me not to, I would never do that. That's crazy. Who said that? But yeah, lyrics are really where I put my heart and soul and my weight behind, you know.
You can definitely tell in like your songs and stuff because I feel like you're very much like a storyteller whenever you write. So
thank you so much. I think that stories are the thing that draws me in about a lot of really great lyricists. You know, SZA's fantastic at that. She'll write a song and I'll immediately, like, as soon as it's released, I'll, like, look up all the lyrics, memorize them, like, dig into the story as much as possible and, like, try to figure out what her headspace was like when she sat down to write the thing, you know? That's something beautiful about songs is I feel like it's a moment and a headspace that you have for one particular moment, and you can grow outside of that as you go about your life. But for that one moment that you sat down to write that song, that was all true to you. You know what I mean? That passed through your filter of what you think is true. And that got on the page and that got on the record. So I think you can learn a ton about someone's personality and worldview by reading their lyrics. And it's like knowing them.
Yeah.
You know? It's like having a friend. You know?
It gives like a little snapshot into their life at that time.
Absolutely. It's like having a phone call from the homie you haven't talked to in like 2 years. And they're like, dude, this crazy thing's happening, you know, like me and my girl or me and my boy just got in this crazy fight and, you know, like this and that. And like, then the phone call ends. And then in your head, you're like, my homie's going through that. You know what I mean? Same thing with songs. You hear something and you're like, all right, for at least 15 minutes, this artist was feeling all of these things is absolutely true. I think that's just the coolest form of connection. And when I write, I strive to like bring that to someone else. I want someone to hear it and be like, Reath was going through this, this, and this, or Reath thinks this, this, and this at that one time.
Yeah. That's
cool shit.
Dope.
Thanks, man.
So how do you think your writing is different? You know, because you said you do a lot of sync placements and other things like that. Is it different writing for other artists than it is writing for yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Am I allowed to curse on this?
Sure, yeah.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Then fuck yeah, dude. It's so different. Because, you know, when you're writing for yourself, it's about like saying things that you think. And, you know, like it's about like really being who you are. I think that songwriting is often like a distilled form of someone's consciousness at that time, like we were just saying. When you're writing for sync, when you're writing for a Kodak commercial, you just sing about cameras. I would never make a commercial for Kodak Black. That's wild.
You were gonna say you were gonna write for Kodak Black.
No, dude, that's also wild. He would hate me.
Sorry.
It's all good. Now, why do we
say wild collaboration?
You read a song for a commercial for Skittles. Everybody knows Skittles. There's no rapper named Skittles. There is a rapper named Skittles. No, Stitches. Never mind. I digress. If you're writing for Skittles, it's not about speaking to who you are as a person. It's about, you know, what it has to do with Skittles, different colors, fruit. You know what I mean? Like good times, happiness, childhood. You know, like you're pulling from things that aren't necessarily so specific to who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Which can be fun and like super freeing and a great way to work the muscle, you know? But my shit comes out vastly different.
Yeah.
When I'm writing for companies or for other artists. You know, I wrote for a 19-year-old TikTok star who's female. And so I sat down and I was like, all right, Like, I'm a 19-year-old girl who's like pretty and famous on TikTok, you know? Like, what does that mean
Happens
for
to the
me?
Gen Z life.
Yeah, you know, like, and that was fun. And I did a little research on her, and I wrote some lyrics that I thought she would connect with, and it totally worked. She ended up cutting the song, and it sounds great. And really great exercise in putting yourself in someone else's shoes, stepping outside of yourself and your own worldview. A lot of fun.
Yeah. How often do you write then? Because it's like, I mean, you're writing for fun, you're writing for work. I feel like you're writing a lot.
Yes, I write every day.
Every day. Wow.
But it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
You know, my day job, I'm a music journalist for a music magazine, and I do a lot of data analytics. I make their charts, you know, so I'll make their like top 50 chart.
Oh, very cool.
But I also do interviews with artists. So when I'm not doing that, I'm either scheduling a session or I'm at a session, or, you know, I've always got something cooking. I'm at a rehearsal for a show, or, you know, like, I think the older you get, you realize that no one's going to do this for you. No one's going to just pluck you out of your bedroom and make you a star, or, you know, like put you in a position where you're able to live off of your music. You got to do that yourself, dude.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's important to write every day. Even if I don't have a session, I'll sit down in my bedroom with an acoustic guitar and figure it out, write about something, write about someone, write about anything. If you do it every day, it doesn't feel like work, and the faucet's always on. You never get writer's block or I don't know. I've got a lot of thoughts on that. I don't want to just ramble at you guys.
Go for it.
Well, if you insist.
We want to hear it.
But you know, I'm in a place in my writing now where I could write at any time of day for as long as you need me to, and I think that's because I'm willing to instantly forgive myself for writing the wrong thing or writing something that doesn't work. You know, LA is a great city, but a lot of the rooms that you can get in can be, shall we say, less supportive than some of the rooms in other music cities. And because of that, you can get a lot of negativity for writing the wrong thing, or for saying something that doesn't quite work. And you have to be able to instantly forgive yourself and move on, because every new second is an opportunity to write the right thing. It's to write the right melody or say the right lyric or validate your seat at that table, you know? So I think when you get in that headspace of like, you trust your talent and you trust your ability, you're able just to move on instantly and perform and deliver for the people around you and for yourself. So yeah, man, I write every day. The faucet's always on. It's great. I love it.
That's awesome.
It's the best way to live, you know?
How's your water bill?
That's awesome. No one's ever asked me that. I love it.
Sorry. A little loopy.
My water bill's horrendous. I love that. I'm going to write a song about that. That's funny. Thank you for that. I'm going to take that.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
At first, I was worried you guys didn't get it because it was so quiet for a second. I was like, oh, damn, it went
No,
everyone's heads.
It was a stunned silence. That was great. I was like, what? We're doing metaphor jokes now. I love it. That's sick.
Love a good metaphor joke.
Yeah, gotta love those.
So we've noticed a theme with you in oranges.
And oranges.
Orange is like your favorite fruit, or what?
Dude.
You know,
So
like citrus or something?
I do love citrus. No, it's interesting, man. That kind of came about accidentally. I've got a ton of oranges in my first music video. It's called Hate You Guts. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Thank you so
it's
much.
Really good.
Directed by my buddy Paul Gratland. And he's a genius. He's such a smart guy, and he's so good at what he does. And we had this concept. It involves me getting dropped off in the desert, and it's supposed to be, I don't know if this comes through, but it's supposed to be a cyclical storyline about me running back to a person who doesn't want me, who's not interested in me anymore because of my own self-destructive cycles.
We've all been there.
We've all been there, man. That's a fucking classic story. Tale as old as time, Beauty and the Beast. No, yeah, where you're running back to someone who's over your bullshit. And so it involves me getting kidnapped by the same masked individuals and dumped in the desert as far away from this woman as I could possibly be. And then I do what needs to be done to hitchhike my way back to this person to try to get to her house. And before I get there, the masked men come and take me away again, you know, and they're chasing me the whole music video. It's, you know, supposed to be representative of the people in my life or the things in my life that are keeping me from bothering this person and from continuing this cycle. They'll just keep taking me out to the desert and leaving me there if that's what needs doing. And as part of this, we were like, all right, maybe I hitchhike in a truck, and that gets me out of the desert back into the city. What's going to be in the truck? Initially, it was going to be flowers, but flowers are expensive. It's mad expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
So expensive.
Even the fake ones.
Especially the fake ones.
That's crazy.
What is that?
You know, it's probably because they live forever.
Hey, I'd pay a lot of money for that too, in all fairness.
Oh, no.
You're like, I don't know about
That's kind
immortality.
of terrible sometimes.
Yeah, vampire style, just like infinite. I don't know. But oranges you can buy wholesale pretty easily, you know? So we bought a ton of oranges. It's an orange truck. What's it doing in the desert? Don't worry about it. You know, it's not important. But then the oranges like ended up being sort of a theme within the music video. I think that my two biggest themes are cigarettes and oranges.
Yeah.
The cigarette's kind of like a finite amount of time that burns quicker than you expect it to. When you first light a cigarette, you have so much cigarette to burn. And by the time you're done, you're tasting filter. And it comes before you're ready for it. And it comes before you realize it. And it's just a self-destructive vice that you get stuck in, that you keep coming back to. You know what I mean? On the other hand, oranges are bright, tasty, delicious. It's like the sunshine, the positivity that's also in my music. And when I play live, I do a lot of crowd work, and like I like to make the crowd laugh and keep everybody engaged and having a good time. And a lot of my music kind of deals with serious topics. So I think the orange is more of my like goofy clown energy that I bring to every function that the homies do not appreciate. And
Why do they not appreciate that?
no one appreciates it.
Definitely appreciate it. Love it.
I appreciate you. And the cigarette is more about the dwindling potential that I think we all feel while growing up. You know, when you're young and you're good at something, someone will tell you, "Oh my God, you've got so much potential. You've got so much cigarette left." And then as you get older, if you lose track of what you're doing, if you lose focus, before you know it, you're tasting filter, man. And it's
Damn.
yeah, it's all cigarette butts, you know. So I think that duality is important to me in my writing.
I know. I'm gonna take a moment and be like,
That's a good question. Thank you.
She came up with it.
Hell yeah, appreciate you. It's a good question.
I was just really curious about the oranges because I see it on like your Instagram and everything too.
Yeah.
And then when you did your show yesterday with strawberries, and I was like, maybe he just like really likes fruit.
Strawberries is
like
like really
fruit.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Actually
there's something
don't
about like
strawberries though.
fresh fruit is dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone loves fruit, and it's positive, it's bright, it's in its prime, ideally. You know what I mean? So I think those two concepts of like this fleeting freshness, this like, you know, prime ripeness vibe, also with like the time limit and like the mortality of it, you know. I think those two things are important. I mean, shit, if I could smoke cigarettes on stage for every show, I would do that. But they would absolutely throw me out of the little venues I'm playing right now. They would not like that. Not even allowed to vape in there. It's crazy.
Damn. Well, how long have you been doing like live performances? Because you really know how to like work a stage.
Thank you so much. I've been in bands for a long time. I think my first band was like the end of elementary school, and then I was in bands all through middle school. I went away to high school, and I was in a lot of performing arts situations. I was on stage all the time. It was a religious school. I was in choirs. Isn't that adorable for who I turned out to be? I was like leading a bunch of choir boys at one point. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I did a lot of that. I was on stage my whole life pretty much. Then I had a band in college, and once the pandemic hit, that kind of broke up. And now I'm doing the solo thing. But I've been on stage for a long time. And, I think it's one of those things where if you're not having fun, what's the point? And if you aren't actively having fun, pretend like you are, man, because everybody wants you to.
Yeah.
They want to have fun. They want you to have fun. The whole thing is supposed to be fun. That's why we do it, right? And it's connection. And ultimately, that's what I'm doing this for. I want to connect with people. I want them to connect with me. And so you catch more flies with honey or whatever. Right?
or
whatever. You smile and make them laugh.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. I just think that my music is better played with a smile than a frown. And I have a better time doing it that way. So I like to relax and have fun. And hopefully whoever I'm playing for will have fun too.
Do you ever rehearse what you're going to say on stage before? Or you just
Never.
Oh, wow.
always just off the cuff?
Dude, I'm insane.
Who said I'm insane?
I'm insane, bro.
I can relate. I feel like I'm a little unhinged most of the time.
Exactly. So if you have that energy in you, why would you rehearse it, if you don't need to, just let it flow. And people are honestly, they're also there for your personality. They're not there for written jokes, I'm not getting up there and doing stand-up. That's
true.
That's not who I am. I've got tons of friends who are great stand-ups, and they're very funny people. I think I wouldn't be good at that because you have to plan it. You know what I mean? Or at least most people do plan it.
What, people aren't freestyling stand-up?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Isn't that heartbreaking?
The world is upside down.
Up is down. Cats are dogs. But no, I think it's just easier to live in the moment and actively have fun. You know what I mean? Writing that shit down would not be as funny and not be as fun. Because also, I make myself laugh sometimes on stage. I'm like, God damn, that was silly. I'm being a silly, goofy guy today, And that's great. It's fun to enjoy your own performance, as arrogant as that sounds.
No, I mean, it makes sense, because if you're not having fun, like you said, why are you doing it?
Exactly. And I want to have fun, man.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if you don't like yourself and you don't like your own performance, how can you expect anybody else to?
Exactly. And I will say a lot of self-deprecating things, to my friends or to, I don't want to say fans, but to people who are being supportive of my music. I'll say self-deprecating things, but if I truly believed them, I wouldn't do this. At the end of the day, you have to be confident in your ability. You don't have to think you're the best in the world. You don't have to think that you're the best in the room, but you got to be confident in what you can bring to the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't feel confident in what you can bring to the table, fucking reflect, man. Look at what you got. Because I guarantee there's something that you do that no one else can do in the way that you do it. You know what I mean? Even if you're a bad singer, a bad guitar player, if you can't dance, if you're awkward as hell, if you got a funny face, I don't know. Now I'm just being mean to someone. I don't even know who this person is, but...
Not him calling out Ice JJ Fish.
Hey! Come on. Have you seen that AI version that fixed something about your girl?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. He sounds beautiful.
Oh my gosh, I have to see this.
I'll send it to you
I don't
guys.
think so. I think that the terrible version, the original, is beautiful.
He got the confidence, though. You know what I mean?
Sure did.
He knows what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah.
So,
Can't tell him shit. He really thought that was a hit.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was. It was
was
viral.
yeah, it totally worked.
We're still talking about it to this day.
Dude, maybe I should write one of them. Girl. That shit was wild. My mind was blown the first time I saw that.
Good times. Good
crazy.
times.
Honestly, an icon.
He really is.
Straight up. I don't remember what I was talking about, but confidence is important. You know, be as self-deprecating as you want, but you have to believe in your heart and like internally that you have something valid to say. If you want to be doing this, then you do have something valid to say. You know, this isn't the kind of thing that you do because it looks easy. Like it's the hardest. I mean, it's probably not the hardest, but it's very, very hard. And you have to like believe in yourself and take a lot of shit. You know, I've gotten a lot of rejection in my life, and so now I don't care what anyone thinks.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Yeah.
What are you doing caring about that? It's a waste of energy. Yeah. And like no one's opinion is more valid about your own art than yours. You know what I mean? It's great to get support. It's great to get critique and criticism. Both are really important and valuable. But at the end of the day, it's about what you're going to take on for yourself. So like I've got a friend who's sort of managing me. He hates it when I call him my manager, but it's so funny. But he'll give me a lot of feedback on my artistic decisions or my plans for the future. And I'll take what I think is helpful, and I'll leave the rest where it is. Doesn't mean I think that the rest is invalid. I just think that it's not for me. You know what I mean? It's not how I want to continue. So it's important to be able to do both. And yeah, man, rock and roll.
So when you were in your band, what kind of music were you doing?
Dude, this was interesting. So at the end of college, I started this band, and we had friends who were in another band, and they made kind of like electronic indie pop. And we kept seeing their shows, and we were like, God, this looks fun. Like, I bet we could make this, you know? And I wouldn't say that we were at all at any point trying to rip these people off. Like, I have a lot of love for them and their artistry. They're still doing it, and they're killing it. They're fantastic. But I think that we wanted to make music people would dance to, number one, because we wanted people to have fun at the shows. And we had this great example of a band that was our age, that was, you know, making this kind of music, and people were liking it. You know what I mean? So we started making sort of like indie electronic dance pop sort of thing. Okay. We ended up making music that wasn't authentic to who we are as artists. And I think once the pandemic hit, and we were playing shows like all the time before the pandemic hit, you know, like a couple every month, and it was getting to a place where we were just playing to empty rooms, you know, just like, God, and that'll make you not give a shit about anything when you're playing to the sound guy in a bar, and like it's like the sound guy and your girlfriend, and she's like, woo, you know, like that. I mean, I love the support, but like that was soul crushing, you know, like. And then the pandemic hit, and the other guy that I was in the band with was kind of like, dude, what are we doing? Like, this isn't who we are. This isn't connecting. We're wasting time with this project. Like, we should just step away. And that was super disappointing at the time. But I think the longer I sat with it, the more I was like, this is actually a great opportunity for me to figure out what is authentic for me and what does speak to who I am. You know, I listened to a lot of hip hop, and I listened to a lot of R&B, and that's not what we were making at all. You know, so I got to refocus on what does Reath want to sound like. You know, and I finally got to use my actual name for my music, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, you know, we made an album during the quarantine. Me and my producer buddy. It's called Big Tragic. It's on Spotify and iTunes, and it's a cool record. I don't play it live very often because it's not made for a live band. It was made during quarantine. It's made for your bedroom or your headphones. It's not, you know what I mean? But you know, there's rap elements and there's R&B elements. I think like the longer that I do the solo thing, the more I get, like the closer I get to my truest expression and like my most authentic expression. I love to rap. I love to sing. I love to write lyrics, and I love to write melodies and arrange songs. And I love playing with a live band. That shit is money. I mean, not literally, because I never make money, but it feeds my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spiritual money.
It's spiritual currency.
Money. I like that.
And I'd be spending it. That gets me through the month. you know. And now I play a lot of live shows with my friends, and it's a blast, man. I get to cover artists that I love and respect, and I get to play my music to, you know, my friends mostly. But hey, man, living the dream, having a great time.
Would you ever release any of the covers that you've done? Because the SZA cover that
Like
you
that
do,
one?
it's so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Should I keep that or the other cover? Because I'm getting rid of one of them for my next show. Keep SZA? Okay. Okay, cool. We'll get rid of Dominic Fike then. Sorry,
I've
bro.
actually never heard his music.
Huh?
I've actually never heard his music. So
Dominic
when you were
Fike?
like, yeah, when you were like, yeah, inspiration, I was like, I only know him from Euphoria.
Dude, a lot of people do. I was really surprised about that.
Yeah, that's actually how I found out about him too.
You guys don't remember 3 nights at the motel on the street? That's him.
I don't know what the heck that is.
Yeah, I didn't think you would know that.
It was like a pop hit a while ago.
Oh, of course. No, I
Yeah.
never heard that day in my life. I never heard
But
that
he's
damn
cool.
song.
He's
Leave
like-
him alone.
He's like R&B alternative, and he raps, and he's a good time, man. He just released a record. You guys should check it out.
Yeah.
Shout out Dominic Fike. If you see this, hit me up, dog.
I have another question.
Hit me.
So, it sounds like you've like done a lot of like different type of sounds and things. Do you have like a soul person or group that inspired you to get into music?
Like initially?
Yeah,
That's a great question. Thank you.
you're welcome.
There's this band from the 80s called The Replacements.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, it was before the punk thing happened. And they're sort of like, they're rock music, but they have like a fuck you energy about it. Something I've heard is that they were either the best band that you've ever seen or the worst band you've ever seen, because they were always drunk, but it was always varying levels of drunk. And when I was a kid, my parents, dude, my parents loved this band, and they named our cats after the members of the band.
Oh my God.
I had a female cat named Paul Westerberg growing up.
That's hilarious. That's like
That's
me
really
and Bootsy.
It is.
Bootsy Collins is a man and Bootsy is a girl. So
Bootsy
you go.
Cattons.
Bootsy Cattons.
Great name. But my dad and my mom were always playing me The Replacements. Now I've got one of their albums tattooed across my chest that says "Pleased to Meet Me." It's my favorite album by them. So if you guys want to check out The Replacements, start there. But yeah, they're from Minneapolis.
Okay.
This janitor, Paul Westerberg, started a band that he heard these guys playing in a garage, and he was like, "Hey, man, I want to be your lead singer." And they were like, "All right." And yeah, the bass player was like 13 when they started. Like
Oh,
he was
wow.
he was the guitarist's little brother. It's just like there's all these great pieces of them, and Paul really cared about the art of songwriting, and his variety and his breadth in songwriting is amazing. So as a little kid, my dad would play me these Replacement songs and say, and you know what's cool about this is yada, 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 and what's cool about that is yada, 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 yada. And I think that really piqued my interest to take music seriously. Like I said, like since I was verbal, I was writing songs, but once that happened, I really started to understand there's like an intellectualization surrounding this, and it can also be fun, and it can also be expressive, and it can also be beautiful and ugly and sad and happy and disgusting and fun, all of these things, you know, like it's my favorite art form for sure, and I think that's because of The Replacements.
Very nice.
Thanks. It's a good question.
Do you express yourself through other forms of art then? Because you said it's your favorite art form, so.
Yeah, I'm a very creative person, but I'm super bad at other forms of art because I've only been focused on this one fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not a bad writer, you know, like I write articles for the magazine and I do interviews. But nah, man, like I'm shit at drawing and dancing and all the things that aren't making music, I'm pretty bad at.
Art is subjective now. Come on.
It is. I'm more in the folk art category of visual arts. My sister's really, really good at it. She's a tattoo artist.
Cool.
So she's incredible at visual art. Her thing on Instagram is Alt L Woods, if anyone wants a tattoo. Yeah. She's super, super cool. We're very close. But yeah, she got all the visual art talent, and I got all the music. And we just split one brain, and we're rocking.
Damn. Well, thank you for being on the show. Like, it was so great getting to hear you talk about all of this. I feel like I've learned so much about you today. I'm very excited about this.
Hey, I'm so glad. Thank you for having me. This was a pleasure.
Inspiring words also.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I like talking about music, man. This is a privilege. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Well, we're going to go ahead and listen to your new song, Winston.
Cool.
You're going to be playing it live for us today. What is like the inspiration behind that song?
So Winston was about a relationship that I had that was sort of toxic, you know, and it was wrapped up in vice. Like at the time I was smoking a lot of weed. I don't smoke weed anymore because it clouds my brain and shit. But at the time I was always high, you know, and I wasn't showing up for this relationship. And simultaneously the girl I was with had a lot of toxic tendencies of her own that neither of us were addressing because I was high all the time. And she was frustrated with me for not showing up, you know, and for being high all the time. And so I think I wrote this song about that friction. And I wanted to talk about my own fault in this whole situation. And I wanted to talk about her fault in the whole situation and not point fingers at anybody, but talk about how this is all kind of fueled by our connection to vice and our connection to each other. It's called Winston. It's about cigarettes, sort of.
I feel like that description was like probably the most untoxic thing I've ever
I know,
heard.
it's like it's all about this toxic stuff, but like this is such like a healthy way to deal with it. Like,
well, I'm glad I got sober because it helped me sort out that relationship and end it and move forward with my life. But hell yeah, man, rock and roll.
so good. All right, well, I guess we're gonna take you over there and we're gonna listen to Winston.
Thank you. I hope I play it right. Shit.
Not the shade to himself.
Self shade. Little Uno reverse card back on me. Hey, my name's Reath. This song's called Winston, and it's out August 25th on Spotify and iTunes and all those good places. All right. Smoking Winston, she think it make her cooler. I can't blame her cause it does. Bashing in the keyboard of my old laptop computer. Got my favorite boxing gloves. There's plenty bad habits you can take from me. Practice made me perfectly dependent. Attack it, I defend it, I stay in my way, yeah. You worried I'm offended. Habits have been ever so expensive. Check out at 11, it's only 7:30. Got the time to smoke and we can hook up if we hurry. Don't give me that look like how you love me when you're buried. Way too young to worry about a reaper or a jury, yeah. Smoking Winston, she think it make her cooler. I can't blame her cause it does. Bashing in the keyboard of my own laptop computer. Got my favorite boxing gloves. Takes all from me. You will never know who got control on me. When she crawling out of clothes. Smoking Winston, she think it make her cooler. Smoking Winston, she think it make things I love, they kill me. These drugs used to fill me. I'm running on empty, it sucks. Honestly, I ain't been honest enough. When it get rough again, I'll fuck this up. Ooh, I love when they kill me. These drugs used to fill me. My tank running empty, I'm fucked. Ain't no more pain I could save in my lungs. Ashing my way again, I'll give in. Take some from me. You would never know who got control on me. She crawling out of clothes and smoking Winston. She think it make her cooler. Smoking Winston. She think it make. Take some from me. You would never know who got control on me. She crawling out of clothes, smoking Winston. She thinks it makes her cooler. Smoking Winston. She thinks it makes.
Damn, that was a treat. Thank you for playing that for us, especially on your guitar. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Actually brings me into another question. How long have you been playing guitar?
All right, this is embarrassing because I'm bad at guitar, but I've been playing guitar since I was like 7 years old.
I don't think
I don't
you're
think
bad at all.
you're
I
bad.
just don't understand.
I'm not good.
If that was the case, I'd be horrendous.
Look, I should be so much better. Like, I'll meet people who've been playing for 2 years and they shred, and like, that's not me, you know? I use guitar as a platform to write my songs on, and that's it.
Yeah.
I have no interest in being a good guitar player, you know?
It serves its purpose. for
It
you.
sure does.
Yeah.
It sure does. But thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, you sound good to me.
Thanks. That's kind of you. It's very kind of you.
Well, damn. Thank you for coming on to the show. You want to let all of our listeners know where to find you?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, you guys. This was so much fun and genuinely an honor. I had a blast. I'm mainly on Instagram. You can find me at pimp.scampy. Thank you. PIMP.scampy. SCAMPI, like shrimp scampi, but pimpy. I'm short, I'm funky, I'm Italian. Let's rock. Come join the family. I would love to see you there. Thank you. I love you. Party.
What a great Instagram name. Every time I see it, I just
I'm trying to know what was the inspiration. Is it because you're short, spunky, and Italian?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, like, I mean, I love shrimp scampi. But, you know, like, I just wanted something that people were going to remember. It used to be R. Nelly, and then R. Kelly got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I understand.
You know what I mean? And everyone was hitting me up like, bro. And I was like, oh, no. So I had to change it to something that was, like, funny and memorable. Pimp Scampi.
Well, it's a good one.
Thanks.
A lot better than Arnelli.
Thank you. One time this woman asked me what that means, and I was with my friend who's also a woman, and she was like, clearly he's a seafood dish that's got hose. And I was like, hey, yo, that's crazy. So yeah, I will never change Pimp Scampi no matter how many times my management begs me to.
Stay true
Don't
to
ever
yourself.
change.
Don't ever change for nobody.
Pimp Scampy's hilarious.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on to the show today. We've loved having you, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is a blast.
Well, thank you guys for listening and watching. Thank you for taking a peek into our universe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
So from me, you will never know who got control on me when she crawling out of clothes.